Hello friends, happy Friday. I'm just going to get this all squared away real quick, make sure we're on. Gotta be here somewhere. If you are joining us today, make sure you say hi, hello. Or if you're watching the replay, make sure that you're saying hello. Let us know that you're there. That way I can get you entered into this month's drawing. I've got lots of stuff to give away next week for all those who participated in September. So thank you for everyone who participated, everyone who's watching. I greatly appreciate that. Helps grow my little business here. So thank you, thank you. Hi friends. Hi Jolene, nice to see you. All right. So hi everyone, happy Friday. I am coming to you today with some Christmas. Woohoo! Super excited to share with you some Christmas. Hopefully, I realize it's still September, but it's time to start thinking about Christmas already. At least it is to me. I start thinking about Christmas in July. So it's one of my favorite times. So my name is Tracy Allen. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I've been doing this now for almost 2 years, but I have been crafting for 20 plus years, making cards, scrapbooks, all kinds of paper crafts. Anything to do with paper crafts, I've probably played with it, and lots of other crafts too. You know, us crafters, we have to do 10 different things. So, but I've narrowed it down now. I'm just doing paper crafts and mostly just Stampin' Up! So it's my favorite. So I want to share with you today the Peace and Joy bundle, and I'm going to give you kind of an inside peek to my process. So I want to show you just kind of how I put cards together, because I think that mystifies some people. They're like, how do you come up with these ideas? Where do you get these wonderful card ideas? How do you make this all fit and work? What do I even buy? And I think it intimidates a lot of people, and they're not sure how to go about even starting the process. They're not sure what to purchase or how to put things together. They buy a whole bunch of stuff they love, and then it just sits in a box or it sits on a desk because they get a little overwhelmed with the process. So part of today is just showing you kind of the process and how Stampin' Up! Makes the process so easy. Really to put things together and to find color combinations that work, and you don't have to make it complicated, and it still turns out beautiful. So some people get super fancy and complicated. Today we're not going to do that. We're not going to get all crazy, but I promise you whatever we end up with at the end will be beautiful, and it will be fun to be able to send somebody. So that's kind of the idea for today. So hopefully you're on board with that. If you are, keep watching. If you're just joining us, make sure you say hi or hello in the comments. Let me know you're there. I absolutely love it if you could share the video. That really helps me out and grows my little business. You know, Facebook has all these special little algorithms that they do. And so the more you share, the more you like, the more you heart, the more Facebook shares it with others. And so that really helps me out. So I appreciate you all being on here today. If you're watching the replay, same thing. Make sure you comment and say hello. So we're starting with the Peace and Joy bundle. This is, when I saw this in the new catalog, I was like, oh, I have to have this. So I love stamp and die sets that coordinate together really well. But I also love layering my sentiments. So I love when you can take a word and then you can add some pieces to it and layer it. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and I'm going to show you how you can use these two things to really layer your cards. We're going to use one card. We're just going to use the stamps because I want to show you how you can do it without having to have a die cut machine. And then the other card, we're going to go ahead and use our die cut machine and cut stuff out. So this is our bundle. We have our Joy dies and our Peace and Joy stamp set. If you're looking in your catalog, it's from our August to December mini catalog. I'm always going to call it the holiday catalog. I don't think I'm going to get away from that. So it's our August to December holiday catalog. It's got all the holiday stuff in it. So you're going to turn to page 18, and on page 18 is where you're going to see the bundle put together. And so I always start here. So my process usually begins with my stamps. Whatever stamp or die set I pull out, this is the one I'm going to use. So that's where my process begins. I wanted to use this stamp set today. So I start by looking in the catalog because I always find that Stampin' Up! Gives me some great ideas for how I might be able to do this. So I noticed I love, again, these layered dies that go with the sentiments. You've got some awesome sentiments here. You have things like happy and merry and Christmas and on earth and to you and yours. You've got a few little accent pieces like your holly and your leaves. Super stinking cute. So those are going to look good on a card together. And then you can actually see how the dies play out. So you can see that you can actually cut out the words. You can cut out the outline for the words, and then you can cut out the bubble outline that goes around the words. So it's kind of hard to see from here, but it's really cool. Really neat die set. So I start with so this is where I start. I start by looking at the stamps and the dies, and I get a few ideas from the pictures. So I've already got kind of an idea of what I want to do. I'm going to do something similar to this one. And then I'm going to do kind of a stamped image. So now I want to kind of decide what colors I'm going to use. So I chose to grab this paper pack. I thought it was pretty. So this is the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper. So I start with my stamps, and then I start with some paper, whatever color designer paper I want to use. And I love how Stampin' Up! Does it because they take all the guesswork out of it for you. I don't have to try and figure out what colors are going to match. I don't have to go to my big drawer of cardstock and pull out every single red I have to make sure that's the right red or that's the right green. How many times do you have to do that? Anybody? That drives me crazy. But instead, it actually tells me right here what the colors are that coordinate with this paper pack. So it's Heartwarming Hugs, and the colors that coordinate are Mossy Meadow, Pear Pizzazz, Real Red, and Whisper White. That's it. So I know those 4 colors are going to be the colors I kind of work around for this project. So I've got all this beautiful cardstock. It's all double-sided. And that's going to be the base of how I'm going to build my cards. I'm going to build it around this gorgeous designer series paper. All right, so I've got my stamps and dies, my designer paper. Now I know what colors I need. So now I'm going to grab everything that goes in those colors. So I grab my cardstock out, Mossy Meadow, Whisper White, Real Red, Pear Pizzazz. Now I pulled this Mossy Meadow from the neutrals pack because I didn't have a pack of Mossy Meadow. So you can buy either the pack, our cardstock comes in either the pack of one color, so you can buy it 24 sheets of one color, or you can buy it in packs where you get 2 of every color in that color family. So Mossy Meadow comes from our neutrals collection, so all of our neutrals colors, you get 2 of them if you purchase the cardstock in that pack. So that's a really nice way to do it, especially if you're not making 20 of the same card. You know, you don't really need to have a whole giant pack of the cardstock unless you love that cardstock and you know you're going to use it a ton. Instead, you can buy the neutrals pack and get a bunch of cardstock. You just get 2 of them. So got my cardstock. I'm going to set that aside here. I'm going to grab my ink. Again, I'm going to grab the same color inks that go with it. So I grabbed Real Red, Pear Pizzazz, and I realized I don't have Mossy Meadow. I thought I had every color of ink. Apparently I don't. I don't have Mossy Meadow. So that's going on my list of things I need to purchase. It's always something. I grabbed all of my ribbon that I thought would coordinate. So I grabbed this awesome Mossy Meadow and white striped ribbon. Isn't that pretty? I grabbed some real red ribbon, and I grabbed my white ribbon. Now again, if you're just starting out, you might just have one of these, or maybe you just don't have any yet. But as you're looking through the catalog, you realize, oh, I want to buy a family. I want to really make my purchase go far. So when you make your purchase go far, you want to start with your stamps and dies and whatever designer series paper, and then just build on from there. So I would have maybe chose one of these to purchase with mine that I knew would match. And then I might choose one or two of the inks to purchase. And then I might choose one or two of the cardstocks to purchase. And that way, when I get my box of all my wonderful things, I know I can use them all because they're all going to coordinate together. They're all going to go together. So that's a really good way to make sure that you're adding value to what you purchase and that you're actually going to use it. You wouldn't want to buy hot pink and then all of this, because as much as you love hot pink, it's not going to coordinate with the rest of your papers, and you're going to probably end up not using it as much. So just some thoughts as you're making your purchase or you're thinking about what you want to purchase. So the other thing I did was look at all my embellishments. And remember, I've got a ton. So I picked out a couple that I thought would go really well. So I grabbed, let's see what I grabbed here. I grabbed the Elegant Faceted Gems because they are beautiful. And I thought these clear faceted gems would be really pretty on this card if I want to dress it up. And then I grabbed the Wonderful Gems, which have this beautiful red and sparkly hue to them. I mean, it's bling. I love some bling. And then on the other side, it has these clear gems with gold flecks in them. And so you've got these beautiful gold flecks, and they're faceted. So what happens is it's going to catch the light, and it's just going to be really beautiful. So I grabbed those two because I thought I might use those. Those will coordinate together really nicely. So I've got those up here ready to go. And then I just grabbed my general tools. So there's a few tools I need. I like to have a bone folder. That helps me just nice crease on my edges. Helps me keep things down if I need to. So I use a bone folder quite a bit. You don't need to. I don't think this is one of those like necessity tools. It is a I really enjoy having tool. So you might think about that. I also use my take your pick tool quite a bit. This is nice because I can pick up my embellishments with it and put them right down on the paper where I want them. So that's a nice tool. It keeps your hands from touching the sticky side of your embellishments. It also comes with a scraper tool, so I might make a few mistakes once in a while. So this helps you like reposition your paper if you make a mistake. And then it also has this really great pointy tool on the other end, which again will help you pick things up or pierce your paper if you need to. So again, not a must have, but definitely a love to have. Here's a must have. You've got to have some sort of adhesive. So I use Stampin' Seal. I love tape runners. They're easy. I mean, that's why I love them, because they're easy. Easy to just run. They're double-sided tape. They help everything stick really nicely together. So again, some of the tools I have. The other tool that you're going to need, along with adhesive, is you're going to have a block for your stamps. I grabbed two blocks here. I grabbed a D block and a C block. These are probably our standard block sizes. You can see mine are well loved. They're all dirty. I need to clean them. I must have had glue on my hands when I was using them. If you're just going to start with one, I'd probably start with a D. It's going to give you the most use. And then your C block is just a little smaller here. And they're, again, great. They go with your stamps, so you'll have to have them to stamp with. But I also use them as my bone folder too. They have a rounded edge, so you can actually use them across your paper and not have to have a bone folder. So They're really versatile. They're nice and thick. They have a nice ridge to them so your fingers fit really well when you're stamping. It feels secure. Lastly, I do have some scissors. Sometimes nice to just have a pair of scissors around. You need those. And then as I'm creating, because I like to make my cards over and over again, or maybe I make them for a class, I like to write down the recipe for my card. So whatever card I come up with, I always have a pen and a Post-it note near me so that I can write down whatever new thing I come up with, and that way I can duplicate it. Because if I don't write it down, then I have to go back and like measure on top of it, and honestly, I just won't do it. So I'd like to keep this handy just so I can write down my recipe. Okay, so that's how I get set up. So that's my setup. It seems a little complicated, but I promise you, as long as you're purchasing within that color family, so you're really sticking to whatever color family you choose to do your cards in. One, that's going to save you a lot of money. But two, you're going to have all the materials you need right there put together, and you're going to actually use them, which I think is super important. So now we start by making the card. I'm going to start with a card base. Because I'm going to use white on the top of the card, I'm going to do something similar to what was in the catalog. I'm actually going to make my card base one of my colors. So I'm going to use Real Red. I love this red. It's my favorite. So I'm going to go through my pack. You can see what I do with my packs. I put my scraps in my packs so that they're always here if I need them. I'm going to take an 8.5 by 11. So that's how our cardstock comes. You can also get some of our cardstock in 12 by 12. But for card making, 8.5 by 11 is the perfect size. I didn't talk about my other favorite tool. This is my other favorite tool. This is our paper trimmer. And this is probably the most used tool in my collection. I use this all the time. It has two blades on it. It has a cutting blade and a scoring blade. And you'll notice they kind of tuck out of the way when you're not using them. So that's awesome. So you're gonna have to have some sort of way to cut your paper. Definitely a paper trimmer. Ours, I think, is the best. I'm a little biased, but I've used a ton of other paper trimmers in the past. And this really is the best. It cuts beautifully, it cuts straight. It's compact and easy to use. I can travel with it. So it makes it easy for me. Try and get this in position so you can see. So I'm gonna cut the cardstock in half. I'm gonna make a standard A2 card. And so to do that, you're gonna cut your paper right down the middle in half. So I'm gonna cut it at 5.5 on the long side. Just line that up and cut it. See, super easy. I'm also gonna score it because I like to have that score, and I've got a score blade, so why not use it, right? So I'm gonna score it at 4.25 because that's halfway. So just turn the paper, score it down at 4.25. Now, while I've got it open and I have two of the same, I'm actually going to do that to this other one, even though I'm not using it right now, because then I can make the same card later, right? I've got my paper all ready to go. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a surface for this. So I want to use that gorgeous designer paper that we're playing with, and I'm going to use one of the green hues to kind of pop on that red card base. So I'm just going to look through my papers, and I'm going to find something with a lot of green. That's a good one. Oh, that's so pretty. And again, you don't notice me doing it because I'm off camera, but I write down all of these things. So my card base is Real Red. It's 8.5 by 5.5. I'm going to use this gorgeous green DS Designer Series paper, and I'm going to cut that to 4 by 5.25. So I'm just cutting it down 1/4 of an inch. 4 flip it over and we're going to cut that by 5 to 5 1/4. And that's going to fit really nicely on my card front and give me just a little bit of a lift there so you can see that red kind of poke out. See how pretty that looks when you line that up? And I stop and write that down because I don't want to forget. Then I'm going to take my white and we're going to have to do some stamping on this one. So again, you can see I have some pieces in here that I use. That way it's all in one place. I can find my scraps. And I'm going to cut this down again by, I'm going to cut this actually down by 1/2 inch. So I want to be able to see a lot of this beautiful designer paper. So I'm going to cut this down to 3 1/2 inches by 4 3/4 inches. So I always step down 1/4 at a time. I'm actually stepping down 2/4 this time. So I'm stepping down by 1/2. So I'll do the short end here. It's 3 1/2. Make sure I line that up. And then the long end, which is 4 3/4. 4, 1 2 3/4. And that way it fits perfectly right on top. See that? We're just going to layer it up. And I'm going to set all those little pieces aside because I might want those later. Now let's do some stamping. Pull my stamps out. I love, 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 love this stamp set. Look at that. So many fun sentiments on here. So, which one do we use? We love them all. I think we'll start with I'm going to pull these out. So these are pretty new. I think I've only used them once so far. So they're going to be nice and sticky when I use them. These are polymer stamps, so they're clear. And that's really nice because you can see right through them. So as you're stamping, got your blocks here. And it looks like my bright is not going to fit on my block. So I'm going to need to grab just a little bit bigger block for that. So I got my block case here. I'm going to grab out to grab kind of a big block for this one. I think this is the E block. Yes, I'm gonna grab my E block. Isn't that nice? They put them in alphabetical order. And they get bigger as they go. You can't mess that up too much. Well, I probably could, but. So I think we're gonna do bright. And I think we're gonna have that. Bright. What does that go with? To you and your ascending. We'll do joy. Joy to the world. I like that one. All right. Changed my mind. See, this is how the process goes. You get your stamp. You kind of decide, what do I want to do with it? So I'm going to use joy. And then I'm also going to use this little one that says to the world. So I'm going to put that on my block. That way I've got it all ready to go. Sometimes I just lay it down and then stamp on it, and that way I can kind of center it the way I want. And since we're doing this, I'm actually going to flip my card over. Joy. And this time we're just going to do stamping on it. We're just going to do some stamp. We're not going to get the dies out quite yet. And because I want you to see that you don't have to have the dies to do all this fancy stuff. You don't have to have a die cut machine. You really don't have to have all the bells and whistles. They're fun, but you can make some really beautiful cards without having to have all that stuff. So I just want you to know that. All right, so we're going to pull out the real red. Again, we've got this big piece of green kind of underneath and just a little bit of red accent. So I'm going to bring out the red. We're going to ink this one up. Now, don't be afraid. when you ink it up, it's going to get nice and dark red. That's okay. And it will stain it. I will tell you, red pretty much always stains. That's just the nature of the color of red. I'm going to use my chamois here to just wipe it off. And you can see it leaves kind of a pink residue. Not a big deal. That does not do anything to your stamp. It doesn't hurt it. You can still use it a million times over. It's going to be just fine. So just know that when you stamp. It freaks some people out. They think they're hurting their stamps, but you're not. It doesn't hurt it at all. All right, I'm going to start with Joy, and then I'm going to use my little To the World here right underneath, and we're going to do that in the Pear Pizzazz. And again, if I had Mossy Meadow, I might use that too. It's on my list now. Definitely need Mossy Meadow to match this set. All right, I'm just going to line that up and try and get that as straight as I can. Sorry if my head gets in the way here. Joy to the world. Pull that up. Oh, that looks super cute. Wipe that off on my chamois again. And it's just water on my chamois. You can tell my chamois is well loved. When you get this chamois, it comes and it's purple. It's this really pretty purple color. I use mine a lot, and all I do is rinse it with water, and then I just make sure there's a little water on it and kind of keep that there. So we've got Joy to the World here, but we're going to dress this up a little with our stamps. We've got some awesome stamps in this collection, and so there's lots of ways to dress it up. I'm going to dress it up with a bunch of these. I'm going to use some holly leaves, and I'm going to use a couple sprigs here, and then you've got the berries. You could also use some of these little, I don't know, little star things here to dress it up. I think we might use some of this too, because it's so stinking cute. I'm grabbing my teeny tiny block just in case I need that. All right, let's start with some of these holly leaves. So we're gonna trade these out. See how easy they come off? They're really easy to take on, put back off, and use over and over again. So put some holly leaves around our word Joy. How cute is that? Okay, we're going to need the green again. Glad I left that open. Stamp those there. I'm going to flip them around and stamp them down here too. A little bit on there. Then we're going to need those tiny little beads, those little berries. So we've got the berries in red. I'm going to put those on my tiny stamp set here. Now I am one who tries not to leave too many inks open at once, because I will stick my finger in it, and my finger inevitably will end up on my card base that I'm making here. So I'm trying really hard not to do that today. So I'm going to watch my hands. I figure if I tell you guys out loud, maybe it won't happen. So you never know. Never know. Stamp those right there. Oh, super cute. And again, remember, it all coordinates because you picked all the colors to go with this. We picked them out to begin with. We made sure that's what we had out, ready to go. And that way, again, you can make a ton of different cards using all of these supplies that you have. And you didn't have to buy the whole catalog, unless you really want to. But if you're just starting out, or even if you're not just starting out, it's nice to have a collection that all goes together and matches. All right, so we've got our Joy to the World. So cute. I think I'm going to attach this and tie a little ribbon around it just to give it a little bit more. Yeah, that's cute. All right, gotta put the ink away, or you know me. My finger will get stuck in it, and it will not be good for anybody. All right. Start my tape runner here. And all I'm doing with my tape runner is just running it down the side, and then I just kind of pick it up with a little bit of flick to the left or the right. Just a little down the middle here. Make sure that's good and stuck. I'm just going to center that right on the paper. Super cute. I'm going to decide what ribbon I want to use. I think I want to use this gorgeous red ribbon. So this is our double stitched satin ribbon. It is this gorgeous real red color, so it's going to match everything that we're doing, right? That's why we grabbed it out. Our goal was to grab all the stuff that would match nicely with it. And I'm going to just wrap this around and create a bow. So to do that, I'm just going to check and see how much I need. Sometimes this works. Sometimes not so much. Okay. I definitely need more on this side. So I'm going to give myself a little room here. I keep a special pair of scissors just for cutting ribbon. So paper will dull your scissors really, really quickly. That's why I have fabric scissors for fabric. They're in my fabric drawer. I have my paper scissors. I have adhesive scissors, and I have ribbon scissors. So I know that's crazy. You probably only need one pair of scissors, but if you really start getting into it and you end up doing this quite a bit, have a pair of scissors you just keep to cut your ribbon, because they're going to stay nice and sharp, and they're going to give you a really clean edge every time you go to cut your ribbon. And then it doesn't fray, and it looks super nice. So we're just making a standard bow. I'm going to try and get that nice and tight on there. I may have to grab my tweezers. I've got a little trick I do when I can't get it. This ribbon in particular does a nice job of creating a really nice bow. See, there we go. Oh, so stinking cute. I love this ribbon. It's almost, I don't know how to describe it. It's satin, so it's really soft, but it's also a thicker ribbon, and so you can manipulate it a little bit easier than you can with some of our other ribbon that's thinner. Some of the ribbon gives me a bad time sometimes. This one is not giving me a bad time at all. It looks gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to cut the end here so that it matches. Get a nice ribbon look there. So stinking cute. And then we're just going to attach that to our card base. So before I attach it to my card base, I gotta fold my card and create my card base. When you score your card, you'll have two sides. You'll have one that's kind of a bump, and you'll have one that's indented. The side that's indented is actually the side you're gonna fold. So you're gonna fold into your bump. You're gonna take your little bump and you're gonna fold into that. And that's gonna give you the cleanest edge when you pre-score your cards. All right, so we've got that. We've got our super cute paper. I'm gonna go ahead and put adhesive on the back of that. What do you think? Is this a card you could make? I'm telling you, this one, we just use our stamps, we use some ribbon, and we use this gorgeous designer paper. And again, as long as you stick to your color families, as long as you look at your color families, you start with that designer paper and your stamps, you really can do a really gorgeous card and make it super affordable. So it doesn't have to cost a ton, as long as you stick to kind of the same color family. And you can do that with Stampin' Up, because everything's ready to go for you. All those gorgeous color families are already picked out for you. They take all the guesswork out. And it turned out super stinking cute. So that's our Joy to the World card. And again, we just used our Joy to the World, our Peace and Joy stamp set for that. And that Warming Hugs Designer Series paper. All right. Hi everyone, good to see you today. All right, I'm gonna set that card aside Super cute. What do you think? Do we like this one? Hearts and likes? That's a fun one. And we're going to go ahead and make another card. So this card we're going to make, we're actually going to use the dies this time. So again, same process. I don't change up the process. I'm going to keep all the same supplies out. All I did was choose everything from the same color family. So I'm going to start with a white card base this time. So I'm going to pull out some Whisper white cardstock. We're going to grab our paper trimmer again. Best tool ever. We're going to cut this to be a standard A2 card size again. So I'm going to cut it right in half. And take the long edge and cut it in half. That's at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to score it because I like to have it scored, pre-scored, ready to go. And so that's going to be at 4 1/4. And I'm going to use my little score tool here. And because I like to have the other half scored and ready to go, if I want to make another card, I'm going to just score it. Let's make sure I score it at 4 1/4. Measure twice, cut once, right? So I've got that scored and I just set that aside. Next thing I'm going to do is choose kind of the look that's going to go with this one. So I am going to use some designer series paper on it. I'm going to use the bigger stamps. So I'm going to use some of the bigger dies. So I want to make sure I have lots of room here to do that. I'm going to pull out this gorgeous paper again. Ooh, so pretty. It's so Christmassy to me. I need Christmassy paper during Christmas time. Just need it to feel like Christmas. Oh, it's so pretty. I don't know which one to choose. Let's use this beautiful striped paper. And on the striped paper, I'm going to actually cut it so that it goes from side to side and just leaves a little bit of the white showing at the top and the bottom. But I want it to really cover most of the card front. So in order to do that, I need to cut it all the way across, so that's 5 1/2. And then I need to just leave a little bit at the top and bottom, so I'm going to cut it down to 4. And we'll see what that gets us. So start at 4. And then I'll cut it to 5 1/2. I'll kind of see if that leaves me enough white on the edges. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe a little more. I might cut another 1/4 off. So instead of 4, we'll say 3 3/4. And then I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. So if I want to make this card again, I've got the directions and I'm ready to go. Okay. So that's 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to set that aside. So when I put that on the front, I'll have a little bit of white showing on the top and on the bottom. I'll set that aside for now, and I'm going to start looking at our dies. So let's pull out these gorgeous dies. Brand new die set. And these coordinate with the Peace and Joy. Let's see. So I love these. So I was telling you a little bit earlier, each of these words matches with the words here. So instead of stamping them, I could actually just cut the word out of the paper and have that to layer on top. So you've got bright, you've got peace, and you've got joy. The other thing you have is you have the bubbles to go around them. So I'm going to do peace. I'm going to pull that off very gently. And actually I'm going to stamp peace. So let's pull these ones out. There we go. So I have the word peace. This is going to go around the stamped image. So it's going to give me one cutout. Then I'm going to have a second cutout that's like the bubble of the stamped image. And so you have 3 pieces that you're layering together, or 2 pieces if you use the stamp. And we're going to use the stamp today to layer that. And it just looks so cool when you've got that all together. And then we're going to do some stamping under it and give it some embellishments, and it's just going to be awesome. So I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock and I'm going to stamp the word peace on top of it. Left my stamps over here. So I've got the word peace. Yep, I can angle that on my stamp block here. So I'm using the D block again. I'm just going to kind of angle it so it all fits on my block. If you've got the larger block, use the larger block. Otherwise, you can see there are ways to use just your D block to make this fit. So I got to decide what color I want to stamp it in. And remember, I don't have Mossy Meadow. I have to buy that now. But I'm probably going to use Mossy Meadow for the outline. So I think I'm going to use real red for the inside. We'll go with some red and some green. Very traditional. So I'm going to stamp the word peace. I'm going to make sure and give it some room on the edge, because when I cut this out, it's actually going to cut out around the white. And so it's going to leave some of that showing. So it almost gives it a layered effect. And that's what we're going for here. I want to kind of layer it up together. Then I'm going to take those dies and I'm going to cut out the word peace. So when I use dies like this, you do have to be careful as you layer it. You want it to kind of give the same amount on the top and bottom. And because I don't have my magnetic plate yet, it's in the mail, the one thing I use is I use sticky notes. So it's cheap and easy. You can buy them at the dollar store. But this is going to keep your die in place. So I just tear off the part that's not sticky. And I look here and I'm going to just make sure that my die is right where I want it to be. And then I'm going to place my sticky note on top and just kind of rub it there so it stays in the same spot. Then I'm going to pull my die cut machine out. We've got our awesome Stampin' Up! Die cut machine. If you ever saw me use my old die cut machine, you know that it would squeak the entire time I was using it. So it goes squeak, squeak, squeak. It was obnoxious. So I am loving my new machine. Yay! It is quiet. It is easy to use. It is going to jiggle the camera just a bit here. Sorry about that. It's going to jiggle the table. But you see how quick and easy it is. And now we've got our word peace all cut out. And it's cut out perfectly. It even cuts out the center of the P here for you. So now you can see it already has an outline to go with it. Now we're going to get the bubble outline. So in order to do that, we're going to grab that bubble die, the one that coordinates, and we're going to grab a piece of the Mossy Meadow cardstock. Now, if I had some scraps of this, I would just use a little scrap. Because I don't have any scraps, I'm just going to kind of hold it up here and cut around it. So it has less waste. Just cut a piece out that coordinates and stick that on here. And I don't need to use my cards or my post-it note again because I'm not trying to make it exact. And when it goes through, as long as it stays on the cardstock, which it will, it'll cut exactly where I need it to cut. See how quiet and easy that is? All right, let me set this aside so it's out of the way. And we've got our little bubble here that we cut out. And we've got our word peace. And that's going to line up right on top there. So you can see how awesome it is. You've got kind of a lot of dimension going on. And then we'll stick that on our card front. Love it. I can't wait to play with this one some more. I have a feeling I'm going to be using this a lot. I love, love, love the double outline. And we just haven't had that in a lot of stamp sets that we have, so it's really fun to have this here. All right, there we go. Peace. And we want something to go with peace, so we're going to look at our stamps. Decide what goes well with peace. So we've got on earth, to the world, sending peace. Sending peace and joy would be really cute. Peace to you and yours. I think I'm going to say peace on earth. It kind of goes together, right? So I'm going to pull off the little on earth here. And go back to my stamps and my block. Got the word peace. All right. And you can see I'm using one block, even though this is a teeny tiny little stamp. I can still use my really big block with it. So I'm going to actually use the Pear Pizzazz and stamp this down on just some piece of scrap white. So piece of white we just used to make the piece cutout. I'm going to use this to stamp on earth, and then I'm going to cut this out. And I'm just going to fussy cut this out. I'm just going to freehand it. Okay, totally stamped it upside down, but that's okay because I'm going to freehand cut it out. If I was stamping it on the image and I stamped it upside down, that would not be good. Actually, I would just flip the paper over and try again. That's usually what I do. Alright, so you can use your paper trimmer for this, or you can just use a pair of scissors. For me, a pair of scissors is fine. I want there to be a white outline because my white outline is going to reflect in my words that I already have on here. So I'm just going to line it up so when I cut, it's going to have a white outline here too. And it totally does not have to be perfect. It is okay. It's okay to not be perfect. Trust me, nobody will know the difference. They will get this card and think you are amazing because you made them a handmade card for Christmas. Who does that? Everybody orders theirs on Vistaprint nowadays, right? So when they get this beautiful handmade card from you, they're going to put that front and center. It will be their favorite one to show off. All right, so we've got our piece on earth. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that word piece down. Now I'm going to use glue to do this only because a tape runner, if you're using your tape runner over the top, you just want to be careful to do it on some paper because it's going to kind of come off the edge. With glue you have a little more control as long as you're not too sloppy with your glue. I can sometimes be a little sloppy with glue, which is why my blocks have glue all over them. It happens. So just a little bit of glue here. Flip that over. I'm going to line that up so that that goes right on top in the center. Yeah, I just love that bubble effect. Just gives it so many layers. And when it's on the card front, it just looks so good. There we go. Piece on earth. And then I'm going to use our Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this all up. So I want these to really pop off the page. So we'll put some dimensionals on the back. These are double-sided foam ed tape. So it's sticky on both sides. And then it gives you a little bit of lift. So you can see there's kind of a foam square there. I have almost used all of these. Now I don't waste a single thing on here. I'm going to use these all, even the outside edge. So don't throw away the outside. You want to use all that you have here. It's all sticky, it's all dimensional. Nobody sees the back side, so they don't care what it looks like on the back side. Okay, I'm gonna put a couple on my on earth so I can pop that up too. Set that aside here. I wanted to have some leaves kind of coming off the front here. So we'll have a piece on earth. Oh, love it. Okay. We gotta have something, it needs a little something, right? Is it just me? I feel like it needs a little bling. I wonder if I do some holly leaves. I'm gonna pull my other leaves out, see what else I've got on here. So I've got some, ooh, I love these little sprigs. So we've got like a sprig of pine, and then maybe kind of this other little sprig here. I'm gonna use those. We'll dress it up a little bit. I'm just gonna take and set those to the side, and I'm gonna use, again, Pear Pizzazz, because that's what I've got. And I'm going to try and put these so they're underneath the word piece. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here. And I know the word piece is going to go here, so I'm just going to kind of put a couple of these little sprigs. Well, the big fat ones. So that they kind of come out on the side here. Perfect. And we'll dress them up with some bling here in a little bit too. Have a couple coming out the side. Kind of down below. Yeah. Go. I'm just going to ink up the corner here. Just get this little bit in the corner. Awesome. So now I got a little bit of leaves going on here. It just gives it a little something. And then we're going to dress it up. Whoops. That's all right. We're going to dress it up with some of these gorgeous red beads. So I can kind of, I got a little bit of ink up there. That's okay. Kind of goes with it. We can cover that up pretty easily. Told ya, if I got the ink open, there's a good chance I might stick my finger in it and put it right on the card front. So it happened. All right, we're gonna take our card base and we're gonna fold that in half. You can use your block. Remember to score right over the top there. And then you don't even have to have your bone folder out. Make sure you're putting your card front on in the correct direction. I know, I might have done that in the past. So open up your card and make sure it's going the correct way. You don't want to accidentally put it all on upside down after you've worked so hard to stamp on it and make this cute card. But if you do, you can use your tool over here and use your flat edge scraper and get it off, because I've had to do that before, so I know. Now I want to make it so that this is even on the top and the bottom. I'm just going to try and line that up and make sure I've got the same amount of white showing on the top and the bottom. You can use your grid lines too on your grid paper. That's a super helpful tool. There we go. Then I'm going to peel off my word piece and stick that down. And remember, I kind of want to get that right over all those little sprigs that we stamped. And then we're going to put on earth down on the side. Such a cute stamp set. Can't wait to play with this some more. I just think there's so many things you can do with this set. It's going to be fun to play with. And now I'm going to dress it up and fix any little errors I might have. So I'm going to take some of this right here, and I'm going to put 3 little sprigs. It always looks nice to the eye when you put things in 3s. It just does. It draws the attention to whatever it is you're doing if you have things in 3s. So I kind of like to do a little set of 3 whenever I've got a card out. And again, I'm using my Take Your Pick tool to pick these up really easily and kind of move them around until I get them exactly where I want them. And then I'll push down on them to make sure they stick. And then, that's cute. Maybe we'll make a little triangle here around the word peace. There we go. All right, we've dressed it all up. Super cute. And we've got our finished cards. So that is my process. So that's how I go from not really knowing what to do to making our cards. And so you can see you don't need a lot of product. You don't have to have all the fancy tools. You really just, when you start thinking about making your cards, start with the basics. Start with your stamp set and dies if you want to use the dies, and the color family you want to use. So we got that color family right from Stampin' Up. I didn't have to come up with that on my own. I got it right from the designer series paper that I was using. And it's even, when you're ordering, you can even see the color family right there. So I use Mossy Meadow, Pear Pizzazz, Real Red, and Whisper White. Super easy way to do it. Then I knew exactly what I needed to order. I wanted to order the things that were in that color family so that I could have them to make my cards with. So hopefully that helps you out as you're thinking about making your Christmas cards. Hopefully this gives you some great ideas for your cards. When you place your order, make sure you use our host code, and that way if you place an order of $25 or more, that's going to get you a super cute pack of Christmas and fall cards that you can put together. So everything you need to make 3 awesome cards, all yours. And that, again, that card kit is free to you when you make a $25 purchase using our host code, and there's a place for you to put the host code right on the website. The other thing that's going on right now, I don't want you to miss out on this, we have a special promotion going only until September 30th. So if you love what you see and you're like, oh, I think I need that whole color family that you just showed me, I'll actually post all of this on the website so you can see every supply that we used today to make these 2 cards. You're going to want to go to, you may want to get our starter kit. Our starter kit is awesome. Right now it comes with 2 free stamp sets and a whole bunch of beautiful cardstock to start making cards with, which is awesome. And it includes some of our rhinestones too. So you've got kind of everything you need really to start making cards, and you get that for free on top of our great promotion. And our promotion is you get to pick $125 worth of product from the catalog for only $99 plus tax. That's a huge savings. So you're not paying shipping, which is awesome. You're getting an extra $25 on top of the $99 that you spend. And you're going to get all of these beautiful items for free. You're going to get the Queen Anne's Lace stamp set, the So Much Love stamp set, a pack of our Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and you're going to get some Granny Apple Green cardstock and some Coastal Cabana cardstock and a bunch of pieces of cardstock to make your cards with. You can't beat it. We don't have specials like this very often. So if you're interested, make sure you click on the join link. There's no obligation. Stampin' Up! Has 0 obligation when you join. There's nothing else you have to do, but you do get to become a VIP, and you do get to have every purchase you make after that at a 20% discount. So you can't beat that. It's such a great offer. And again, at no obligation, it's hard to beat. So let me know if you're interested in the Get and Go Starter Kit promotion, because that ends September 30th. And that is like less than a week away. And I don't want you to miss out because we don't do this very often. We don't have, to give away 2 free stamp sets, rhinestones, cardstock on top of that already great value of $125 in product for only $99. Like, we just don't offer that very often. So I want to make sure you get in on it and don't miss out. Thank you all again for watching. Hopefully you're inspired to create some of your Christmas cards. And I'll be back again on Friday for a live. I will be on Create and Connect this Sunday using the same stamp set, but we're going to do a few different things. So if you love this set, if you want some more inspiration, join me on Create and Connect. I'll put a link right there on the Facebook page for you or on the YouTube channel so you can join us. We'd love to have you. Have a great Friday, and have a wonderful weekend. Blessings to you all. Stay safe. I miss you all, and we'll see you soon.